Right, so I actually got some good news here coming out of Texas, where last night they were holding some of their early Democratic primary contests for 2022, and multiple different Democratic Socialist candidates significantly overperformed against their more corporate-aligned contenders. So I got a good breakdown here to start us off from Jake Johnson of Common Dreams, who says progressives applaud as Kassar wins big and Cisneros forces a runoff with Cuellar. So the first candidate we're talking about here, Greg Kassar, open Democratic Socialist candidate. So he says former Austin City Council member Greg Kassar handedly won the Democratic primary for an open seat in Texas's 35th congressional district on Tuesday, while progressive immigration attorney Jessica Cisneros forced Representative Henry Cuellar, a corporate-funded Democrat under FBI investigation, into a runoff contest in the state's 28th district. Now, just specifically on this FBI investigation, since they basically raided his house and took out a bunch of shit, we haven't really gotten any major updates that I've been made aware of, so it's still kind of up in the air what exactly this investigation is going to lead to, or if it's going to lead to anything. But that did kind of throw a wrench in this election and really kind of switched it up going towards the end. But they say specifically on Kassar, a Democratic Socialist endorsed by both AOC and Bernie Sanders, had over 61% of the vote after results were tallied in more than 95% of precincts in the 35th district, which stretches from East Austin into San Antonio. And if that doesn't really sound like it makes much sense, yeah, I mean, look at this district and how it is shaped right now. This is the product of gerrymandering, where you're basically packing in massive Democratic coalitions into specific districts like this. So you have it going all the way from San Antonio over here in specific parts of the city, then stretching all along this stretch of highway all the way over to parts of Austin, Texas. So again, abolish gerrymandering, have independent districts, but nonetheless glad that he could actually come away with a dub in a completely fucked up gerrymandered district like this, where he is essentially guaranteed to now go on to win the general election because of how many or how disproportionately left-leaning this district happens to be. But they say the district is a Democratic stronghold, meaning that he is most likely to secure the next victory. Now, I wanted to play you guys a quick little clip from his acceptance speech, or his victory speech here that he gave last night, because I think this kind of puts it in perspective exactly the type of congressional representative this guy is going to be. So let's just go ahead and hear straight from his mouth.
Yes, I got lots of votes on this ballot, but actually $15 an hour won tonight. Medicare for All won tonight. The PRO Act won tonight. Reproductive rights won tonight. Immigrant rights won tonight. The movement for Black Lives won tonight. LGBTQIA rights won tonight. Working families won tonight. We did that together, y'all. We did it together. I am just so deeply honored to have been a part of this together with you. And I'm so deeply honored about what we're gonna get to do next. Because I feel such a huge responsibility that you have placed in me, but I know I don't have to carry that alone. I carry that alongside hundreds of volunteers, alongside hundreds of thousands of doors knocked and phone calls made. You all gave so much. But you didn't just give these last 4 months, you gave a lot these last few months. But you have given for years, and many of you have given for decades longer than I have been alive, and we have so long to go, because as long as I am vertical, we are fighting to make our democracy work for working people in Texas.
All right, so there you go. I mean, pretty based stuff there. Pretty much have absolutely no complaints. Seems like he touched on all of the major issues. He's a supporter of the PRO Act, supporter of Medicare for All, supporter of the Green New Deal, etc. Go down the line. Now, this is the product of running a campaign that is specifically centered on actual substantive policy issues that will dramatically affect and materially impact the lives of average working class Americans. This is the product of that type of an election. So overwhelming victory here, and nothing but solidarity with Greg Kassar to go on and actually be a representative of these constituents who showed up, did the organizing work, and have now essentially, but not technically yet, gotten him into office. So again, I mean, highlighting all of the different policies that he is in favor of there. You love to see it. So the other candidate that we were focusing in on from last night was Jessica Cisneros. So an update on exactly where she stands. She did not happen to avoid a runoff election as Greg did, but nonetheless, still a massive W here considering the context of this election. So they say Cisneros, meanwhile, is headed to a runoff election with Cuellar after neither candidate received more than 50% of the vote, the threshold needed to win outright, and the runoff will take place in May. So if you happen to live in the 28th district, then go and show some support and go out there, vote, organize, phone bank, do whatever you can to make sure that this motherfucker is taken out of office. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a rundown in terms of just how corrupt Henry Cuellar actually is. But Jessica Cisneros, she's a pretty solid candidate here, so she deserves to win in this runoff. But again, these are the districts, so if you happen to live in any of these areas, then go out and show some support there. But they continue saying one of the most corporate-friendly Democrats in Congress, Henry Cuellar, has been a major obstacle to the passage of President Joe Biden's domestic policy agenda and has repeatedly hit the president from the right on immigration. Okay, think about how dramatically and violently right-wing Joe Biden's administration has been surrounding immigration policy, okay? And this guy is hitting him from the right. Okay, so just completely deranged. One election analyst argued that, quote, the key to Cuellar living to fight another day is pro-Trump Democratic primary voters along the border who responded to his anti-progressive messaging. So that's a little bit of insight, a little bit more insight here from The Nation. Henry Cuellar's corporate ties, they say, it's no secret that Representative Henry Cuellar, the conservative Texas Democrat, whose home and campaign office were raided as part of the FBI investigation last week, or this week, is a couple weeks ago now, has deep corporate ties. Cuellar, a 9-term incumbent, is known as Big Oil's favorite Democrat. He's a top congressional recipient of oil and gas money, as well as private prison industry cash, pretty much the most despicable locations you could possibly be taking bribes from, and has been caught providing favors to lobbyists, business interests from the Coke-linked groups to the immensely powerful U.S. Chamber of Commerce prop up Cuellar, and he returns the generosity using his power in Congress to cater to their preferences and safeguard capital. So again, two pretty solid W's here that we got out of Texas. There were a couple other elections that were going on that I haven't seen the results of, so hopefully we're trending in the right direction on a couple of those. But these two ones in and of themselves, if we are able to get both Greg Casar and Jessica Cisneros into Congress, it will make a material difference. Like, I'm not the type of person who's going to pretend that electoral politics are the entire picture. Nowhere close to that. We need the outside organizing, we need the pressure, we need the direct action, we need the protests, we need all of that, etc. But at the end of the day, having more people who are closer to being ideologically aligned with our movement as socialists, as leftists, as anarchists, communists, whatever you want to call yourself, having people who are in power, who are more closely aligned with our ideologies and our goals, that is going to be a positive thing, okay? There's nothing negative about going out and supporting candidates like this. So again, if you live in those districts, go show Jessica Cisneros some love, show up, support and organize, do whatever you can, because at the end of the day, having more people who are having this message, not afraid to go out there, challenge corporate Democrats, challenge Republicans, that's going to be trending us in the right direction.